Yeah, better be nothing.
I love it when you talk to me so tough and manly. And you know, you make me feel like a little Mexican peasant.
For this malware analysis, this malware made me its bitch. And part of me has to imagine that it knows it. This is Electron. This is a 32-bit Trojan that was written not too long ago, about a week. And it does a very, very good job of hiding itself. First thing we're going to do is take a look in VirusTotal. I'm not looking at the detections first. I'm going to the details first. The creation time on this is 2018. Creation times are easily falsified. We're not looking at that. The first submission was July 11th. That was 8 days ago at the time of recording this video. Last submission was about 30 minutes ago by me. Despite the fact that this was first uploaded 8 days ago, it only has 13 detections. And not only does it have 13 detections, but those two big names, Bitdefender and Kaspersky, neither one of them detect it. It goes from Avira to Google, and then it goes from Google to Malwarebytes. There's no B, there's no K. And Microsoft doesn't detect it either. What is really surprising is that Google does, Avast does, Avira, Symantec. The big names that have very few detections, they have detections for this. But Bitdefender, Kaspersky, Microsoft, wherever it is, they don't have any detections. So if you have the two big names or you use Microsoft Defender, you're screwed. We're going to go to details. MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256. Again, I can't put these in the description. My videos got removed for doing it before. So if you really want to follow along, unfortunately, you'll have to type this on your own. Creation time, we've already looked at that. There is no signature on this, but it does have a fake copyright and the product and description in this file version. If we go to relations, we have one execution parent, which is app_pass1233.zip, and we have 4 bundled files. 21 dropped files, and only one of them have one detection, an app64.7zip. If we go to behavior, we have one low MITRE signature and one high sigma rule. That's all we've got. And community, Centauran was here a week ago. Jaffa was here 8 days ago. I don't believe either one of them even have the file name. Well, they do. They have Electron. Okay. We'll go ahead and minimize this. And I'm going to show the tools that we'll be using for this malware. We have System Informer, good to go. Wireshark, I'll reset the PCAP for it. Zooey, ready to go. And Process Monitor, which I'll go ahead and reset as well. Now, this did a very good job of hiding everything that it did, and I almost didn't make this video. However, it made just one mistake, and that one mistake was actually so simple and brain dead, I don't know how they missed it. But we're going to go to properties, and for the details, it looks pretty legitimate. Yado Engine background agent, I've never heard of it, but it is what it is. Realistic looking file version, realistic looking product version, realistic looking copyright, and it's 73 megabytes, both to make it look legitimate and as well as to hide it from some AV engines. Because even in 2026, some antivirus engines won't scan a file if it's above a certain file size. Now, without any further ado, let's run Electron.exe. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Yes, I do. Immediately, we see it running down here, and it's not doing a whole lot visually, and then it just instantly closes itself. Now, last time, it deleted itself in testing. It didn't delete itself this time, for whatever reason, but it was supposed to. I'm not sure why it didn't, but it didn't. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to go into Process Monitor, and we're going to do 2 filters. The first filter is, let me find the file name. I went way past it. Electron.exe. And the second one, its operation is create file. I'll click apply. And we don't have a whole lot going on here. So if we scroll through all of this, we don't see too much out of the ordinary. We see a bunch of language packs that are being installed. Now, these are not legitimate language packs. These are actually just files that are being downloaded to make this program look more legitimate to malware analysts. You see a bunch of DLLs that are being called. We don't see a VC runtime. We don't see really anything that looks out of the ordinary. We just see the, your standard DLLs, a 7-zip file, and a bunch of language packs, which if you were looking at that 7-zip file, you just assume that's what it was. So we're going to scroll down. We see some app data stuff, and then we start seeing things that look legitimate. Or not legitimate, look suspicious. However, and this is going to be a recurring theme, we're not going to be able to see any of that. If we go to that directory, C, users, Larry Bodenheimer, app data, local, and temp, this is as far as we're getting. So it says the folder is CJ blah 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 AI. That's not here. And that's going to be a recurring theme. So we're going to go ahead and close this window, and we're going to keep scrolling down. So we have a .temp that is no longer there. We have, let's keep looking. We see it accessing some stuff with Chrome and Internet Explorer. A little suspicious looking, but not really anything to just jump out and say that it's malware. If we keep scrolling down, we have more of those language packs, and they look legitimate. United Kingdom, China, I'm assuming one of these are Singapore, Romania, Netherlands, blah, blah, blah. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And we see an elevate.exe. Now, I don't entirely know what this is for, but I would assume this is for privilege escalation. But we'll never know, because again, if we try to jump to that file, it's no longer there. And as a matter of fact, there's not anything that we're going to see here that really jumps out or that we can find. It even has a Vulkan 1.dll as a fake Vulkan graphics engine, usually used with, Linux, but it could be used on Windows as well. And then that's really everything that there is to look at there. So you might think that it's done, this isn't malware, or it's too difficult to analyze. We have yitoengine.exe to look at because it reinstalled itself in a temporary directory. It's no longer there, but we can see what it did. So we're going to type in yitoengine.exe, and we're going to click add and apply. There's a lot less events here, it's about half, but we're going to scroll through anyway. Let's scroll up to the top, and we're going to keep scrolling through. I said we're going to scroll to the top, thank you. The prefetch was instantly deleted. It's calling its own program. It's accessing directories. A lot of things happening in local temp, just like it was with the last analysis. But nothing really is jumping out, except for one thing. This local state. And now it says name not found, so now I'm really sweating bullets. Because it may have actually deleted that time. But the other things we're looking at, it looks like it's installing drivers, a d65.camp, a photo.gmmp. Nothing out of the ordinary. More DLLs, and that's really about it. Except for one thing. The local state. Now it's saying name not found. But it is still there. This was the most suspicious thing that they needed to get rid of. And I don't know if they forgot about it when they were creating this malware, or if the deletion payload for this failed. But if we open this in Notepad, we see an encrypted key for OSCrypt. And what this encrypted key is for is this grabs the information that it wants from your device. It encrypts that information so that once it's exfiltrating it from your device to their network and their own device, your antivirus won't catch it because it can't actually see the data that's being transferred. It will put your data in a randomly named file, which is all of those things that we were seeing in the temp directory. It will encrypt it. It will transfer this encryption key with it to decrypt on the fly once it's on their device. And if it hadn't been for this, this video would not be getting made. And there's one more thing that we can take a look at as well. The host directory. This also looks suspicious as well. However, this isn't malicious in and of itself, because usually when we see this, it's adding other things to the host directory. In this case, however, if we open hosts, it hasn't actually added or removed anything. It's only looked to see if you have any specific modifications to the host file, which we don't, so it didn't do anything. And it might not have done anything other than add that information to the temporary file it creates to exfiltrate your data with. But that's all we could take a look at in Process Monitor. So now we are going to go to Wireshark. Not a lot here. So if we save this as 1.pcap and then put it in Zooey, I think you can already tell what's going to happen. But we're going to look anyway. And while it's doing that, we'll take a look in behavior again. Not a lot to look at here, but I will show the MITRE signatures and Sigma rules. There's only one low MITRE signature and the rest are info. And that only low one is application layer protocol. You won't get any information from this, but I will read it nonetheless. Adversaries may communicate using the OSI application layer protocols to avoid detection, network filtering by blending in with existing traffic. Commands to the remote system, and often the results of those commands, will be embedded within the protocol traffic between the client and server. Adversaries may utilize many different protocols, including those used for web browsing, transferring files, electronic mail, DNS, or publishing and subscribing. For connections that occur internally within an enclave, such as those between a proxy or private node and other nodes, commonly used protocols are server message block, SSH, and RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol. And that's really it. We do have the Sigma rule as well, and it's just uncommon service host command line parameter. Detect instances of service host.exe running with an unusual or uncommon command line parameter by excluding known legitimate or common patterns. This could point at a file masquerading as service host, a process injection, or hollowing of a legitimate service host. And that's all we've got. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the packet capture. There's only 134 rows. There are some alerts, but it's just suricata. Not anything to look at there. I'll make sure it's the same here. Only 134 rows. We might as well look at all of them. There is this notice. It's an expired Microsoft certificate because for some reason they just don't keep up with that kind of thing. And then we have access to Microsoft Crypto API. Nothing to really look at there. And that's it. So the only thing that even made me recognize it was malware to begin with was that one file. If we take a look at relations, there's one contacted IP address. It's a 162. Now, if we take that and we put it in Wireshark, do we have any connections to that IP address? Okay, for some reason it didn't copy like I wanted it to. We do not. So in this case, it's used a different IP address entirely. Now, I will look to see if there's anything that just jumps out at me, because there's only 515 packets. But I really doubt I'm going to find anything. There is this one. It's a 162.159.614. We could try that. 162.159. I already forgot the other numbers. Let me pull up Wireshark again. 614. 614. Error code 1003. And if we put that in, Why didn't that copy? If we put that in, error code 1003 usually refers to a Cloudflare issue, meaning direct IP access not allowed. So it could be the malicious C2 server. And it's not impossible because it does have the repeating IP derivative, but there's not really any proof. So it's another thing of like that James Dokes. It's like, I know it's him, but I just can't prove it. And other than that, that's all we've got. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this deep dive. It's a little bit different from the kind of videos that I make, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and a comment in the comment section down below, and consider subscribing if you're new. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I'll see you in the next one.